Probably I'm not defensive about it.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live stream. And welcome to all your latest Chelsea news. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Make sure you're smashing the like, subscribe if you're new around here. All of that good stuff. And of course, guys, make sure you get involved in the chat. We have got another packed show. Loads to get stuck into. Reports from ESPN in Argentina saying that Chelsea have held talks with the entourage of Julian Alvarez. We're going to dive into all of that news. We've got the latest on Chelsea potentially being prepared to listen to offers for Pedro Neto in the summer. And of course, we've got all the latest news from Liam Rosenior's press conference ahead of tomorrow night's game against Leeds. Reece James now fit, but apparently he's unwell. Make of that what you will. Plus all the other little bits and pieces to get into as always. Big up to everyone. Smash the like, subscribe if you're new. Just a quick reminder as always, guys, make sure you check out Jerseys FC Soccer Shop. Link is in the description. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off, people. They've got all the Chelsea retro kits. They've got retro kits in general. They've got international kits. Whatever you want to get your hands on, guys. Great quality, affordable prices. Names, numbers, patches, whatever you want. Make sure you get involved. Smash that link in the description chat. 20% off. Use code BLUEBROTHER. You will not regret it, people. You will not regret it. But that is enough about that. Let's say hello to some of you lot in the chat. And then we're going to get right into this, people. We're going to get right into it. We've got a lot to talk about. I don't see Julian Alvarez happening to Chelsea. I think it's PR nonsense, and I don't see us paying wages. To a certain extent, I agree. Afternoon. Hold talks with Alvarez. Bro, to be fair, this is coming from a journalist in Argentina, so it's not your... Well, I'm not saying this is going to happen or whatever, or I'm not saying that this is or isn't true, but this is not club PR in terms of journalists speaking about this on ESPN in Argentina. What else we got? Yes, big up to you, brother. Big up to you. Is this a rumor? Well, it is a rumor at the moment, yes. It's big up to you, brother. Big up to all the Chelsea fans out in Nigeria. Big up to you, brother. It's big up. Sell Neto and sign who? Yeah, that's the issue here. That's the issue here. Big up to you, brother. Bro, I'm telling you now, Julian Alvarez is not a pointless signing. How on earth is Julian Alvarez a pointless signing? What madness are we doing here? Yes, big up to you. Or we've already seen talks of free. Osherman, Yildiz, Elise. Yeah, no, I hear it. I hear it. Barnstable, UK. I'll be honest, I don't know where Barnstable is. I don't know where that is. The upcoming transfer window is so important for us, bro. I'm telling you now, the most important window, I think, of the entire time that Clearlake have been here. The most important window. Big up to you. Quendo is a Neto replacement, potentially. I think it's truth to it because Enzo's... Yeah, look, he's best friends with Enzo Fernandez. Anyway, we're gonna get stuck into this, chat. We're going to get stuck into this. Let's dive into this Julian Alvarez stuff, because we were strongly linked with Alvarez last summer or 2 summers ago, was when he was at Man City. That's when we were linked with Alvarez. So, but the problem with that, Alvarez is an exceptional player. Had a very good season at Atletico Madrid last season. However, he's got just 7 goals in La Liga this season. No goals from open play in his last 16 league games. Apparently, Chelsea met his representatives this week and are advancing ahead of Arsenal and Barcelona. Atletico Madrid are demanding over 100 million euros. They want in excess of 86 million pounds for Julian Alvarez. But 1 penalty in his last 16 La Liga games. He's going for a tough spell right now. He's going for a tough spell. There's no denying it. There's no denying he's going for a tough spell. But he's a quality player. He is a quality player. But according to ESPN Argentina, Chelsea are advancing in talks, chat. There's every chance, by the way, that Alvarez leaves Atletico Madrid this summer. Now, we know that for Chelsea and for this ownership, transfer fees aren't an issue. If a player has got good resale value, if a player's of a certain age, then we're happy to pay the transfer fee. The issues arise for Chelsea is when the wages are. That's when the issues arrive. Bro, I hear it. The Omega thing, and this is the point, right? When players like Julian Alvarez could be available, and you look at Chelsea have got Emmanuel Omega arriving in the summer, and it's just like, guys, why is Omega coming in the summer? I hear it. Why is Omega coming in the summer? That to me doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all, chat. It's one that I'm baffled by. By the way, I'm fully aware that we are highly unlikely to get Julian Alvarez, but I'm here to discuss the news and I'm here to discuss what's out there at the moment. This is not me saying we're going to get Julian Alvarez, by the way. I'm not saying any of that. I think we all know that Alvarez to come to Chelsea is nigh on almost impossible. But according to Christian Falk, Bundesliga expert, because Bayern Munich were reportedly interested in him, Alvarez faces an uncertain future at Atletico Madrid amid interest from a host of top clubs, although he's got a contract until 2030. Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool are all reportedly credited with an interest, while Barcelona could also move in the summer. Recent reports have suggested Arsenal could be willing to offer Martinelli and Jesus to sweeten the deal. Atletico Madrid are demanding in excess of £86 million for him. Chelsea would pay them. The thing is, right, Chelsea would pay, if Alvarez was on wages that Chelsea would be prepared to pay, we would pay the transfer fee. We would pay the transfer fee. He's 26 years old now. I like him as a player. I think he's a brilliant player. I think he's the sort of player that we absolutely need. That would be a considerable upgrade on what we've got. Imagine having Alvarez, Joao Pedro, and I don't know. Well, I say Delap, or Omega, or Jackson, or whatever. Bro, I'm just having a conversation. I'm just having a conversation about it. I'm not saying this is true. I'm fully aware that we're probably not going to get Julian Alvarez, but I'm here to discuss the news that is out there and have a conversation about, are we going to change our ways? Because this is the summer where we need to change our ways. This is the most important summer transfer window coming up under this ownership. I know we've said that about a number of windows, but this is the single most important window under this ownership coming up in the summer. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. This is the most important window coming up under this ownership. Serious recruitment needs to be done. Serious recruitment. I mean, Joao Pedro and Alvarez would be exceptional. It would be absolutely exceptional, chat. Delap needs to go. Look, if Delap had to be sacrificed after a season to go and get an Alvarez or someone better, then I would be prepared to sacrifice that. Of course I would. Of course I'd be prepared to sacrifice that. Well, I don't think the Omega deal is going to be cancelled. I don't think so. Yeah, mate, won this before the West Ham game. It should be coming out on Chelsea socials soon. I haven't seen it yet, but it should be coming out on Chelsea social media channels soon. Bro, if Barca wants him, yeah, this is the thing, right? And I think we all need to accept where we are in the food chain. And this applies to all English clubs. Barcelona and Real Madrid, for Latin American players, for South American players, that is the pinnacle. That is the absolute pinnacle. And so it doesn't matter if you're Chelsea, if you're Arsenal, if you're Man City, if you're Man United, if you're Liverpool. At the end of the day, the pull of a Barcelona or a Real Madrid, 9 times out of 10, you are missing out on those players. That's just the reality. That's just the reality. Big up to you, bro. He's 26 on 200k wages now, so he'll last for more than that and will cost around 90 million. Yeah, well, look, but this is the problem though. Why can't you have Pedro and Alvarez? Left winger, absolutely. We need to focus on. I hear that. Delap to go. He's got 1 goal in the Premier League. He's been horrible, just not ready for the step up. But the thing is, though, like you talk about Delap not being ready, I would question whether Emmanuel Omega's ready. He scored 14 goals in France last season. Yeah, he's a unique profile. He's made his debut for the Dutch national team. You would have to say, like, Delap's not ready, but I would argue that Emmanuel Omega isn't ready either. So we're going to have 2 of our 3 strikers right now who aren't going to be ready, which is just madness, which is just absolute madness. You're going to have 2 of your 3 strikers who aren't ready. Delap will stay and look, Guiu will be sold. To be honest, Delap and Omega both need to go on loan. Both need to go on loan. Jackson will get sold, yeah. You would expect Jackson to be sold. I mean, look, the only way, look, if Chelsea are genuinely interested in Julian Alvarez, one of the only ways we might be able to get him is if Enzo Fernandez, who is believed to be best mates with Julian Alvarez, if he can put in a good word. That's the only way that might happen. But what I would say is as well, where are we getting £86 million from? Where are we getting that money from to go and sign Julian Alvarez? I think the days of Chelsea doing the big transfer fees, I think they're gone, chat. I genuinely think those days might be gone. We'll spend 40s, 50s and 60s potentially, but I don't see us spending 70s, 80s and 90s. I don't see that happening. I don't believe we're going to be spending that sort of money. You know, we were looking for exactly. We're looking for a midfield player. If Chelsea are genuinely interested in an Adam Wharton, in an Elliot Anderson, chat, then that's going to cost you upwards of 70 million. We don't have the money to do that, and I don't think we've got the players to sell to do that either. Omega needs to go on loan, but do you just leave him at Strasbourg again, or do you send him on loan somewhere else? That's the thing. Bro, Guiu's not better than Delap. Guiu is not good. He's someone that needs to be sold. He needs to be sold as well. He's not good enough. He's not at the level required. We got to stop doing this stuff where people try and make out that players are better than they actually are. Mark Guiu is not good enough, was never good enough. Liam Delap right now is nowhere near good enough. Could be good enough at some point, but we don't know when. We haven't got the time to waste on this. To be honest, I wouldn't be against Nico Jackson being part of the squad next season. I would rather Jackson be in the squad next season than Omega or Delap. That's my honest opinion on it. I'd rather Jackson be in the squad next season than Omega or Delap. Now, you might call me deluded. You might think that's ridiculous, but he's better than those guys right now. Again, yeah, it wouldn't be a surprise. And by the way, do not rule out another striker arriving. Do not rule it out, chat. Don't rule it out at all, because we've really got no idea what's going to happen after this. You've got no idea if we're going to go for another winger, if we're going to go for a number 10, if we're going to go for a centre forward, if you're going to look for someone who can play a combination of all those positions. Bro, Delap's not going to go to Man City. To be honest, Nico Jackson would do well at Atletico Madrid. He would do well there. Yeah, but bro, that was 3 years ago now. That was 3 years ago now. The landscape has changed. You only have to look at our recent windows, the last 2 summers. We haven't spent more than what, 50 million quid on the player in the last 2 summers. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I don't think we spent more than £50 million on a player in the last 2 summers. We bought Gittins for an initial 48. Oh, Joao Pedro 55, 60. But this is my point, chat, is that I don't think we spent more than £60 million on a player since we signed Enzo and Caicedo. We haven't. So, bro, you can talk about, never doubt people who spent 200 million on 2 midfielders. But, bro, that was 3 years ago now. And since those 2 players arrived, we haven't spent more than £60 million on a player. That's just the reality. I don't know if Delap will be sold in the summer, but Delap, I understand why he came to Chelsea from Ipswich. But if we're being honest, Delap should have gone to an Everton or a Newcastle, gone there for 2 or 3 years, which is a step up from Ipswich, show what you can do, and then maybe you go to a Chelsea, a Man United or whatever. Bro, this step's been too big for him right now. The step's been too big for him right now. And we haven't got the time to just nurture him through. Delap, I didn't have an issue with the Delap signing. I was happy for Delap to come, but I wasn't happy for Delap to come on the premise that he was essentially going to be the main number 9. Bro, I don't think he is. I'll be honest. People can say this, right? But people were saying that Delap was better than Jackson. Jackson in his first season scored 13 or 14 Premier League goals. Delap's got 1, and it's February. You can say Omega's better than Jackson. Let's see how many goals Omega scores in the Premier League next season, because I doubt he gets more than the 12 or 13 that Nicholas Jackson got in his first season. This is the point that I'm making. Right? You can say Omega is better than Jackson. If Omega is better than Jackson, go and score more goals than he managed in his first season. And let's see, because people were saying that Delap was better than Jackson. Yes, I know there's been some injury issues with Delap, particularly over the first half of the season. But he scored 1 goal in the Premier League. He's got 2 goals in 22 or 23 appearances this season. That's useless. That is his level. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everton's a great football club. They could be playing Conference League football. They're a top 7, top 8 team. Perfect. That's fine. Or a top 10 side. That's probably what Delap's level is or was. Big up to you, brother. I'm not going to get relegated, no. Bro, respectfully, can you please explain how signing Garnacho, Gittins, and Delap to try and compete for a Premier League title shows you they know what they're doing? Failing window after window to sign players to improve the first team. Because I'm not seeing anything to suggest that they know what they're doing. I'm seeing 0 to suggest they know what they're doing. You can't just keep dining out from 3 years ago on Enzo and Caicedo and Cole Palmer. That's literally what they're dining out on, are those 3 signings. But you can't have 3 signings that have been good and then ignore the other 40-odd signings that we've made under this ownership that have been nowhere near good enough. Yeah, of course, bro. Of course. I don't care how much a player costs if they produce. No one talks about the price if a player's playing well and producing. That's facts. No, bro, we signed 2 midfielders for that money 3 years ago. I'm not saying go and spend £100 million on a player, but what are you talking about? That's got nothing to do with them showing they know what they're doing. They've made a handful of good signings and wasted hundreds of millions of pounds. They haven't once shown they look like they know what they're doing. For all the money we've spent, we don't even have forget winning the Premier League. We haven't even got a squad that can challenge for the Premier League. And you're telling me that these lot know what they're doing? Come on, brother. Like, you can like the ownership and be pro-ownership without having to make stuff up. Yeah, I agree. It hasn't worked out right now. Look, I'm not writing him off completely at Chelsea, because remember what Marc Cucurella was like in his first season. Remember what Cucurella was like in the first season, and he's now one of our best players. So I'm always hesitant to completely disregard a player after less than a season or one season. But we can only go off what we've seen so far. And what we've seen so far from Garnacho is useless. From Gittins is useless. From Delap is useless. That's three players there who between them cost 120, 130 million pounds. We spent 130 million pounds on those three attacking players, and they've contributed nothing this season. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, Omega suffered a setback. He's out for the next 2 months, which is why David Datro Fofana went on loan to Strasbourg. No, I'm not. When have I said we need to go and spend 100 million pounds on players every summer? Bro, you're just inventing things in your mind. I haven't said that shit once. Not once have I said that. All I'm asking for is for these people to sign quality to improve the first team, not signing bang average squad players. That's all I'm asking for. Go and sign proven quality. Go and sign first team starters. Don't sign bang average squad players for starters. That's all I'm saying. I'm not telling anyone to go and spend 100 million. This is what I've been saying as well. This is what I've been saying. Barco looks half decent. He's doing well for Strasbourg. Looks like a good player. But as we know, Ligue 1 is totally different to the Premier League. And look, players can improve over time. But Barco literally been in Strasbourg for what? A year? We need to see more than that. We need to see more than that. Brighton don't let top players go or talents go unless they're very sure or they get the serious money for them. Barco's done well, but there'll be concerns. And exactly the concern here is the physicality, the lightweightness of him. Yeah, I think inevitably that is going to come to a head. Inevitably, that will come to a head. There's no doubt about it in my mind. That will all come to a head at some point when certain players want new contracts, when, you know, we're going to see it. We're going to see it. Yeah, bro, that's mental. That's absolutely crazy. Mate, you're completely missing the point here. They've got some things right. I like the signing of Pedro. I like the signing of Esteban. But generally speaking, they have got way more things wrong than they've got right. And their last two summer windows have been an absolute disgrace. Bro, Guiu's not good. Guiu isn't great. Yeah, he's young and there's some potential there, but Guiu needs to go and play. Guillou needs to go and play. And he's not going to play at Chelsea. Simple as that. Yeah, he probably would do well in La Liga. But why is there a constant rush that as soon as anyone shows any sort of form for Strasbourg, that they've got to come and join Chelsea? Why is there such a rush for that? I don't get it. But look, Alvarez, I think it's clear that he's going to be on the that he could be on the move this summer. Chelsea reportedly have held conversations. I don't really believe it. If I'm being perfectly honest, I don't really believe it at all. Just because it's just not what we do. Age, transfer fee, potential wages, all the things that we don't do. And unless we're going to change our ways, then I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it at all, chat. There's an opportunity this summer for them to prove us wrong and go and make some top-level signings. There's an opportunity for that to happen. A big opportunity for that to happen. But we all know brother, I hate to break it to you. Levi Colwell was an academy product. So you can't have him. Reece was an academy product as well. Those aren't successful signings. They were already here. Lavia is a good player. That's not a successful signing. He's played 30 games in 3 seasons for us. Hasn't completed 190 minutes. I love him, but you can't say that's a successful signing right now. I'll give you Enzo and Caicedo, obviously. Cucurella, Palmer, yes. Esteval and Joao Pedro, it's too early to say, but they're looking like that. In absolute certainties right now, you've got 4. Enzo, Caicedo, Cuckoo, and Palmer. That's it. No, of course it's not happening, bro. Of course it's not. We say it every single window, and without fail, every single window, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You know, it doesn't happen. So, I don't know. It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's an interesting one, chat. But this Alvarez thing, whether we look for it in the summer or not, I've got no idea. Bro, we can move on to this now. That's another one that I don't see it. I don't see it. We were linked with him very, very strongly, Morgan Rogers, the other year, last summer, sorry. We were linked very strongly with him, and nothing came of it. Nothing came of it at all. But we can talk Morgan Rogers, chat, briefly. We can definitely talk Morgan Rogers. Let me just bring this up from Fabrizio's YouTube video from yesterday. Was it yesterday or was it Saturday? Let me just quickly find it, chat. Bear with me. But again, the Morgan Rogers situation. There was an update. Yep, here we go. Let me bring this up now. So, Chelsea are still very attentive to Morgan Rogers' situation and are big fans of the player. One to watch again in the summer. In case of a huge proposal, there could be a possibility for Rogers to try a new chapter. Now, I think when you look at Chelsea in the attacking third, particularly in the central areas, we lack a ball carrier. We definitely lack that profile of a ball carrier in the final third. There's no doubt about it. We definitely lack that. But this is the same situation. If Aston Villa are in Champions League football, then Morgan Rogers is going to cost you an absolute fortune. It's going to cost you an absolute fortune. It's just not. I'll be honest, guys. I just can't see it. Like how many summers have we been doing this? Right, we've been sitting here for the last 3 summers, going into a 4th summer, and we somehow think this is going to change. We somehow think this will be different. Oh, it'll be different this summer. They'll go and do X, Y, Z this summer. They'll stop doing what they've been doing for the last 3 years. They'll stop doing what they've absolutely doubled down on, and they'll go and sign fucking Morgan Rogers, and they'll go and sign Julian Alvarez, and they'll go and sign whoever else or whatever. We have to be realistic, chat. We can demand that and we can want that, but to expect it is delusional because of what we've seen in the last 2 or 3 years. They're not going to suddenly change their ways. They're not doing this for a laugh. They're not recruiting this way for a laugh. They're recruiting this way because they believe that this is the right way to recruit, and they believe that this is the way they can win, which is mental. We're not going to target these top players. I wouldn't say definitely not coming, but I would say there's a very high chance he's not coming. Big up to LB. Big up to you, brother. Thank you for your service at Anfield yesterday, for doing the right thing for English football. Nah, bro, they're not. I'm not convinced. And by the way, I'd love to sit here in the summer and say, do you know what, guys? I'm so sorry. I got it wrong. These lot changed their ways. And we see Morgan Rogers holding up a Chelsea shirt, and we see Julian Alvarez holding up a Chelsea shirt, and we see whoever else holding up a Chelsea shirt. But bro, there's no evidence. There's no evidence. And when Chelsea fans say, oh, it'll be different this summer, we're going to get X, Y, Z players, what's that based on? What is that being based on? And what that's being based on is just hope. Is hope at the end of the day. You know, it's hope at the end of the day. It's not based on any evidence whatsoever. It's based on zero evidence. To be fair, I think we could afford Rodgers' wages, but the transfer fee will be massive. It'll be absolutely massive. It'll be huge. I'd take Rodgers. I'd take Rodgers because you can play him on the left-hand side drifting in. I would probably take Rodgers over Alvarez. Although I'd love them both, I'd probably just take Rodgers. Bro, you think we're signing everyone? Again, I'll be here every day in the summer. If we sign Morgan Rogers, more than happy to hold my hands up and apologise. But where's your confidence coming from that will definitely sign Morgan Rogers in the summer? What are you basing that on? Where's your confidence coming from? Because that's based on absolutely nothing. That's just based on sheer hope or based on what you want to happen. Where is your confidence coming from that you think we're going to sign? You think we got a good chance of signing Morgan Rogers? What are we basing this on? What are we basing this on, chat? Because I'm struggling to understand what this is being based on. I really don't get it. Rogers would be an outstanding signing, which is exactly why we don't do it. Thank you, brother. We couldn't. We didn't even offer. We didn't even bid for Xavi Simons. So what are we doing here, bro? The summer window. I can tell you right now what the summer window will be. It's Omega and Quenda. We'll try and sign Anderson and Wharton, but we won't be able to do it, and we'll end up with Barco. So this is my guess at the summer. Omega and Quenda are definitely coming. We already know that. Done deals. Valentin Barco will be the midfield signing. At centre-back, we will end up with, I don't know what, some random kid that's maybe absolute max 23 years of age. And the attacker, God knows. We'll make 4 or 5 signings in the summer, and I think we already know what 3 of them are. No, I don't think he would have done. I don't think he would have done. People need to realise that Delap, at this point in time, is not very good. That's just the facts. He's not playing well. He doesn't look like he's at the level. And we need better. We need better. Delap's a squad player. Delap is a squad player. No, it's looking that way, bro. Oh, so he fits all the criteria, so therefore he's coming. Jacquet fit all the criteria. We couldn't get him. Chose to go elsewhere. Just because someone fits the criteria doesn't mean anything. Bro, respectfully, this is how I know you're chatting absolute garbage. Rodgers not a top player. Yeah, good one. Rodgers not a top player. Either your standards are ridiculously high, or you need to go for an eye test, brother, before you next watch a game of football, because you're telling me that Rodgers is not a top player. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Rodgers not a top player. I mean, this is incredible, chat. I get it. People all watch the game of football very differently. Rodgers not a top player is mad. Guys, there's 150 in the chat. There's only 73 likes. What are we doing here? 25 more likes to the 100 mark. Run this up to the 100 mark ASAP. Run it up to the 100 mark ASAP, chat. Smash the like button. Keep subscribing if you're new round here as well. Run it up, run it up. I would love Morgan Rodgers to come. Great ball carrier in the final third. Can play on that left-hand side. Can drift in. Be perfect. It would be a brilliant, brilliant signing for Chelsea. I don't think, in all honesty, chat, I don't think we could make a better signing this summer than Morgan Rodgers from an attacking point of view. It'll be a fantastic signing. But I've got no faith or no confidence. Yeah, because you can play Rodgers off the left. Rodgers plays a lot of his football from the left-hand side, drifting in. Yes, so that means he's coming then. That means he's coming. Jacquet fitted all the criteria. We didn't get him. We've missed out on so many players that fit criteria. Bro, just because someone fits the criteria, that doesn't mean they're automatically signing for the football club. I can put together a list of so many players that fit the criteria. Doesn't mean they're coming. Kenan Yildiz fits the criteria. Are we 100% signing him in the summer? No, we're not. Bro, we're not signing a centre-back to play left-back to replace Cucurella, are we? Come on. No, I'm being realistic. If you want to be deluded and think we're definitely getting Morgan Rodgers and then be really disappointed in the summer when we don't get him, you do you. I would love to sign Morgan Rodgers, as I said. But I'm not going to sit here for the sake of it and just say, oh, we're definitely going to get him because he fits Blue Co criteria. We're not. I'm not being miserable. I'm being realistic. Who genuinely thinks we're getting Morgan Rodgers this summer? And then I'll ask you the reason why. And the reason why is because he fits criteria. That's not a reason that we're going to get him. No, he's not at the moment. He's not at the moment. I agree. Sarr made his debut at the Club World Cup, but he obviously was on the bench against Wolves, didn't play. Exactly. Elise fit the criteria as well. Didn't come. Mark Gurhey supposedly fits the criteria. didn't come. Yeah, I agree that Palmer's better than Rodgers, but Rodgers is still very good. Rodgers is still very good. Yeah, Rodgers and Palmer are very, very good friends. They both come through at City. They're both very good friends. Very, very good friends. Again, I didn't say Rodgers was the same bracket as Palmer, making things up. I mean, yield is no way. And look, by the way, signing a new contract doesn't mean that you're not for sale. It doesn't mean that he won't leave. You can sign that contract to protect value and whatnot. But I'd be very, very surprised if Rodgers is going anywhere this summer. No, I didn't. You said we're definitely getting him. You said in the chat, we're definitely signing him. And I asked you why, and you said because he fits the criteria. That's why we're definitely getting him. Yeah, Barco will be a Chelsea player, whether it's this summer or whether it's the summer after. Barco 100% will be a Chelsea player at some point in the next 2 years. That's a guarantee, chap. That's a guarantee. Bro, I am being myself and I'm being realistic and I'm being honest about things. I don't do anything for clicks. I just say how I feel and how I see it. Some people agree, some people don't agree. That's fine. Everyone's got different opinions. I welcome the different opinions. I would agree. I would absolutely agree with you on that. And I think that's very, very fair. I like Joao Pedro. I think he's a very good player. I don't think you win a Premier League title with Joao Pedro being a main man, being a starter week in, week out. I agree with this. I think if you're going to win the Premier League, Pedro backs up Cole Palmer. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. 100%. And not enough people are seeing this. Not enough people are seeing this. Look how many players we sign are either ex-Man City or ex-Brighton. It is a boys' club. It is a boys' club. It's ex-Brighton. It's ex-Man City. That's the reality. Yeah, but if Lavia's fit, if Lavia can keep fit, and you've got Andre Santos, why do you need Barco? Barco's not better than Lavia. Barco's not going to be. Is not better than Andre Santos. So what? So what would be the point? Um, I mean, do I honestly need to explain this? Because Gyökeres is playing in a much, much better team. A much better team. João Pedro in that team would win a Premier League because the team around him is very, very good. Gyökeres will win a Prem because he's playing in a top team with top players around him. But if we're being honest, I think that you would need a better striker to win a Premier League than Gyökeres if you want to win it multiple times. Then Gyökeres would maybe be a backup to someone. %100%. This is what we need. It couldn't be more simple, chat. You have to get starting level quality. No more bench players. No more bang average players. Starting level quality this summer. Simple as that. No excuses. Play him on the left. Play him on the left. I never said he was a problem. All I'm saying is in a serious team, he's probably a backup. And you can say, yeah, put a better team around him. We've had 4 years and spent over £1 billion. And look what's around him. I'm enjoying the fact we're winning games and we're doing well. We're just discussing transfers right now before we move ahead onto other things. I don't think that's going to happen. But let's move away from the Morgan Rogers situation. And let's discuss this Pedro Neto thing, because there's a report today that Chelsea could look to sell him. Could look to sell him. I just need to find it now. Right, here we go. So, Chelsea will have Quenda, Esteval and Neto as right-wing options. They could choose to entertain offers for Neto in the next window, or they may decide it is useful having his experience rather than leaving Quenda and Esteval to predominantly take care of the right wing. Esteval will have a year's experience in England by then. And the thing with Neto this summer is going to be very, very interesting, because I don't hate Neto, by the way. I don't hate Neto. But what is clear is that for the last 2 months, Neto has been awful. He's been absolutely awful. He had a very good end to last season, had a very good Club World Cup, and he started the season pretty well. However, when you look at our group of wingers, outside of Esteval, they're all not good enough. Gittins, not good enough. Garnacho, not good enough. And Pedro Neto, for a main guy, we're looking at him to be the main guy on the wing for Chelsea, is not good enough. He's constantly got his head down. His end product's not great. His delivery's not great. His football IQ is quite poor. And really, he's in the team for his defensive work. That's essentially why Pedro Neto is in the team, chat. He's in the team for his defensive work. And that's mad. That's mad. And you look at it and you think, right, okay, Neto's got experience. Pedro Neto is a rotation player. He's a squad player. If you're serious about winning the major trophies, Neto's not a regular starter. Neto is not a regular starter if you're serious about winning the major trophies. He isn't. He's a squad player. He's a squad player at best. And whilst he's done reasonably well this season, the last 2 months, have been unacceptable. The last 2 months have absolutely been unacceptable. Chat, we're 10 likes away from 100. Keep smashing the like button. Subscribe if you're new around here as well. Let's get these final 10 likes on the board, people. Get these final 10 likes on the board. Run it up, run it up. Bro, that's been like that for ages. Been like that for ages. I don't know why people are making a big deal out of that. It really isn't a big deal. But the problem you've got is that if you stick with Garnacho and Gittins on the left, and you get rid of and you were to get rid of Neto, and you have Esteval and Quenda on the right, you've got no proven quality on those sides. You've got no proven quality. I would rather keep Neto or use Neto on the left and sell Garnacho or Gittins, or preferably sell both of them, and then have Neto on the left and a starting quality left winger. Like, it should have been, we should have signed someone like Semenyo in the summer and then only got Gittins or Garnacho. I think they're taking a massive risk. I think they're taking a huge risk there. I wouldn't. Look, I think we all know that it's highly likely that Pedro Neto could leave in the summer, or that Chelsea could certainly look to sell Neto, given they've got Quenda coming, who predominantly plays on the right. Although he can play on both sides. Neto can play both sides. So would it be easier to sell a Garnacho or a Gittins and have Neto as a left wing option? And have Neto as a left wing option potentially? I don't know, but I think you're taking a major gamble, chat. I think you are taking a major gamble if you are going into next season with only Quenda and Esteval on the right. One season of Esteval at 19 years of age and one season of Quenda at 19 years of age. Or no seasons of Quenda at 19 years of age. This is what's tricky, chat. This is really what's tricky. And this is where we've got big decisions to make. And, I was saying this the other night on Chelsea Fan TV, is that despite all the money that we've spent on wingers, and we know that we need to improve at centre-back, the wings is our worst area in the squad. The wingers are our weakest area. Other than Esteval, who's still potential at this point, other than Esteval, they're all dusty, chat. They're all not good enough. Other than Esteval, they're all not good enough. So you're looking at Neto, Garnacho, and Gittins, and none of them are good enough. None of them are good enough. We have to be honest here. It's quality and profile. Age is not the biggest issue. But what I would say is, chat, is that Quenda is not going to come and hit the ground running straight away first season in the Prem, 19 years old. He's not. He simply isn't, chat. We have to be realistic about these things. He's not going to be that guy. We don't know how good Quenda's going to be. We've got no idea how good Quenda's going to be. Bro, I didn't say I wanted to replace Joao Pedro. Again, just making stuff up. I would agree with you. The only way that I'd be happy for Neto to go is if someone better came in. The problem is that we probably know that someone better isn't going to come in. That's where the issues are for us, chat, is that someone better is unlikely to come in. And that's the stance that I've always had. I don't mind selling players as long as you bring someone better in. The problem is last summer, we didn't bring anyone better in. Other than Joao Pedro, no one better came in than the players that left. And so we can say, let's sell Neto. But ultimately, we need someone better to come in. And there isn't the evidence to suggest that anyone better will be signed by these directors. That's what the issue is, chat. I agree. I haven't got an issue of selling Neto in the summer. But I do have an issue if you sell him and you don't bring someone better in. That's the problem. Fact of the matter is, Neto is the easiest to sell. I would agree that Neto's easier to sell than Garnacho or Gittins, 100%. Absolutely agree on that. Yeah, Gael Kakuta, Charlie Mazunda, all top players. But look, Neto, when he's playing well, is a decent winger. Is someone that I do like. And let's not act like his form is never going to come back and this is just going to be him. Let's not act like that's the case. Let's not act like that's the case. And there is a bit of a weird agenda going on at the moment surrounding Neto. He's been poor, but I think he can get back to some level of decent form. And he might be bad right now and not playing well, but he's better than Garnacho and he's better than Gittins. Easily better than those guys. Easily better than those guys, chat. Like that's not even close as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, he is easily better than those guys. This is really not hard to understand. Really not hard to understand. I agree, but very rarely do players become as good as what data or what scouts make out to be. Look, players do, but generally speaking, they're not going to become as good as the expectations, mostly speaking. But there's an interesting decision to take on Neto in the summer. There's an interesting decision to take. Can we carry 5 wingers into next season? Can we go in with 5 wingers? And one that look, it'd be easy to say we're going to sell Neto in the summer, but I don't think it's as simple as that. I don't think it's as simple as that at all. I really don't. I think there's a lot more to it than that. That's what I'm saying. So we do have to see. But yeah, I think Badia Shield's gone in the summer. I think Badia Shield's absolutely in the summer, gone, finito. And I think Neto and Esteval's our best wing pairing. No doubt about it. Neto and Esteval is the best wing pairing that we've got, chat. 100% it is. 100% Neto and Esteval, best wing pairing that we have. Easy. Would you rather be sold Neto and got Yildiz in? I wouldn't be against that. I wouldn't be against that at all. But I think we know, again, that's unlikely. I think that's unlikely, to be perfectly honest, chap. Yeah, he did sign a new deal at Juve, and I'm under no illusions that we have probably got no chance of getting him. But what we need to remember is new contract doesn't necessarily mean not for sale. It just is. It can be a way to just protect an asset and to maximize any potential fee. But there's definitely a decision to be made in the summer with Neto. There's definitely a decision to be made, and it's gonna and it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very, very interesting to see what decision is made. Because I for one will be keeping a very, very close eye on this. Very close eye on it. Yeah, potentially. And this is the thing though. You do need a bit of proven quality, a bit of experience for these younger guys to learn from. You do need that. You do absolutely need that. You 100% need that. You desperately need it. There is absolutely a Neto agenda, and I don't agree with the Neto agenda whatsoever. I don't agree with it. But we have to speak on the facts, and the facts are he's been poor for 2 months, and he's not performing to the level required. And when he's your main guy on the wing at the moment, that does need to be called out, and he does need to step his game up big time. I'm sure he's fully aware of that. He'll know better than anyone that he's not playing particularly well right now. He knows better than anyone that he's not playing particularly well right now. But we'll wait and see. We'll see. Yeah, but I think just for a scouting perspective, I mean, clubs scout loads of players, look at loads of players, but scouting someone doesn't equate to solid interest and then pursuing with a bid and signing them. Yeah, look, I would keep Neto. The only premise I'd sell him on is if someone better comes in, but we know that that's highly unlikely to happen. So I would personally keep him. Bro, I don't know what you're on. Mudryk, there's no news about Mudryk being back for the start of next season whatsoever. But yeah, look, there's clearly a decision that needs to be made. There's a decision that needs to be made on Lavia. There's a decision that needs to be made on Pedro Neto potentially, and there's decisions that need to be made on a number of other players as well. So this is going to be very interesting to see what actually happens, chat. This is going to be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, Mudryk's better. By the way, I'm not saying Mudryk is definitely better than Garnacho and Gittins. He's not worse. He's not worse. No chance is he worse. Yeah, bro, we'll get into this a bit later on. We'll get into it a bit later on. I'll probably do a show before the game tomorrow, to be honest. It's not kicking off till 7:30, so we'll probably talk about the game in more depth tomorrow, but we'll do a little bit. We'll cover the press conference in a sec from Rossinia earlier on this afternoon. But I don't know if Garnacho will be sold in the summer. But the thing is, though, like you can't really, unless it's Cole Palmer, Reece James, or whatever, Caicedo, Enzo, etc. You can't really rule out anyone. You can't really rule out anyone. That's what I'm saying. You can't really rule out anyone. So it's going to be an interesting one. I would say Mudryk's better than Gittins. These guys aren't worse. These guys aren't worse, chat. That's the point being made here. People, we're still over 140 in the building, only 101 likes. Let's get this up to 120 likes as quickly as possible. Make sure you are smashing that like button. It's free and it takes seconds to do. Run up the likes and subscribe if you're new around here as well. We're closing in on 20.2 or about 15 subs away. So if you're new around here and you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. But get these likes up, chat. Get these likes up. We're going to move away from Pedro Neto and transfers and stuff, and we're going to talk about we're going to go through some of the key things from Liam Rosinia's press conference. And there was an update on Reece James. Now, we know that Reece James has missed the last 2 games. There was mixed reasoning behind missing the Arsenal game. People saying he was rested, some saying he'd failed a late fitness test. Rosinia saying that he's very, very close after the Wolves game. And now, apparently, he's fit, but suddenly today he's feeling ill. No conspiracy, it's the truth. Hopefully, he'll be well enough for tomorrow. The problem with this is that when there's been so much, when you've been in the dark over Reece for so long, it's very difficult to know what to believe. It's very, very difficult to know what to believe. Because Reece was pretty much available all the time this season under Maresca. As soon as Maresca's gone, Reece is missing games. Reece is not available. Reece is not in squads. Now, this could be a coincidence, by the way. This could just be a coincidence. But now he's ill. That seems too convenient, in my opinion. I just feel like something's not quite adding up here. He's ill today. Hopefully he'll be well enough for tomorrow. So if he's fine yesterday, suddenly ill today, is he going to make a recovery for tomorrow? Because I'm not saying I think this, by the way, but you can easily piece the information together and understand why people come up with certain things or why people think in certain ways. Because this injury, there could have been a bit of a problem with the injury. Maybe there's been a setback. Let's just say he's ill. Maybe he misses the game tomorrow because he's ill, and then he wasn't going to play against Hull anyway, probably in the FA Cup. And then you've got 10 days until the Burnley game. You can easily see how Chelsea could be buying themselves some time here with a potential situation. Reece may well have started against Hull, or he might have been on the bench or whatever, but he probably wasn't going to be a main guy for the whole game. He probably wasn't going to be a main guy for the whole game. So when they lie about stuff, or when they've not been straightforward about stuff in the first place, you can understand why there's these kind of theories out there. You can absolutely understand why. And maybe it is just a coincidence, but I just feel, chat, I feel that is it more than a coincidence that since Maresca went, that Reece's availability has been much less? Maybe I'm wide of the mark. Maybe, that isn't the case at all. I'm not entirely sure, but it all does seem a little bit weird, doesn't it? It all does seem a little bit odd, and it feels like there's a few things that aren't really adding up with this. He's now fit, but he's unwell. I'm just not sure. And look, we shouldn't need Reece James to beat Burnley at home. We shouldn't need that. Sorry, to beat Leeds at home. But the fact that he's not been in squads and stuff, it's all a bit, I don't know. It's all a little bit odd to me. It's all a little bit odd to me. Look, I don't think they'll sell Reece in the summer. No, I think Reece will sign a new deal. I do genuinely believe that Reece will sign a new deal. But let's wait and see. Let's wait and see on that one. But yeah, this for me is just that I'm just a little bit unsure on this. Suddenly unwell. It just feels like look, maybe he plays tomorrow and it's fine, but I just feel like it's a little bit. I don't know. I just feel like it's almost too convenient. I just feel like it's too convenient. But let's wait and see. Let's wait and see, chat. But that was one of the interesting things from the presser. Palmer's fit. There's no other injury worries. Lavia's been back in training for the last 2 days now. I would imagine maybe he's on the bench against Hull, potentially, Lavia. But again, I think they might want him back in training for a significant amount of time before we see him featuring in a matchday squad, given the well-documented issues that he's had. Someone is saying to check Pice. Let's have a look. Okay, let's bring that up quickly. Chelsea and Arsenal have Club Bruges midfielder Alexander Stankovic in their sights. Inter Milan have a buyback value for 15 days in June. I think the buyback's £20 million. Stankovic is a centre-back / holding midfield player, and he is the son. I don't know if any of you remember the Inter legend Dejan Stankovic. This is his son. He left Inter in the summer to go to Club Bruges. He's a centre-back / holding midfield player. And he's 20 years of age. So again, someone that kind of ticks all the blue code boxes, as it were. Let's see if we can read anything. Oh, this is it behind a paywall. What have we got going on here? We need to go into English. No, I can't read that. Fair enough. I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything about him. I think he's done reasonably well for Bruges this season. But signing another kid doesn't make any sense. Signing another kid doesn't make any sense, chap. It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I'd be a little bit confused about that one. That's not making sense to me. It's not making sense. By the way, look, this is from a Dutch Belgian outlet. HLN are pretty good for kind of stuff in regards to Belgium and whatnot. So I don't know whether this is true or not. I'd expect that there is some element of truth in this. I think there probably is some element of truth. Yeah, but bro, we've got depth in Andre Santos. Is this guy better than Asugu? Is this guy better than Lavia? Like, if Lavia can get his fitness sorted, and if Lavia can, stay fit and contribute, why do we need someone else? Why do we need someone else? Is what I would say. Why would we need someone else? Personally speaking, I'm not sure if we would. Well, he's at Club Bruges and he's 20 years old. I can't imagine it's very high. Look, Stankovic has done reasonably well this season. I'm not denying that at all. He has absolutely done reasonably well. Look, I don't think Lavia's finished. I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that at all. But a decision will need to be made in the summer. A decision will need to be made in the summer. Lavia's a top player. I don't care what anyone says. Lavia's a top player. I don't think he's done. I don't think he's done. For me, I'm giving him one more chance. I'm giving him another chance. I wouldn't sell Lavia personally because first of all, who are you going to get to take him? Who are you going to get to take him? But again, look, how likely this sort of signing would be, I've got no idea. I've got no idea. No, I'll be real. I've never heard of this guy. I'd never heard of him. But Lavia, when he's in the team, makes the team better. Exactly, bro. Exactly. You don't. I don't think people realise how good Lavia is. I've not seen many midfield players better at receiving the ball from the centre backs and beating the press. Lavia in the first phase of play is absolutely elite. He's absolutely elite in that first phase of play, chat. In that first phase of play, receiving the ball from the centre backs and beating that press. He's elite at it. He's absolutely top quality at that. Top quality at that. And yeah, look, the fitness issues have been well documented. It's been beyond frustrating. You can't really view him as a Chelsea player given how little he's been available. But I still maintain a bit of faith because of how good he is. I still maintain faith because of how good he is. Because of how good he is, I maintain the faith. Look, Lavia's made 30 appearances in 2.5 seasons, and he's not played 90 minutes once. I hear that. And look, if he doesn't really feature much over the second half of the season, then I hear there's a conversation to be had. I don't disagree necessarily with people for having that opinion, but when a player's that good and you can see what they bring to the team, I'm prepared to be patient. If this was an average squad player, then yeah, fine, get rid. Wouldn't be having this opinion. Lavia's not been a flop. When Lavia's played, he's been very, very good. So calling Lavia a flop is unfair because it's insinuating that his football has been crap when he's played. The only reason why people are saying that Lavia is a flop is because he's not been fit. Is because he's not been played regularly. He's not played regularly. That's the only reason that people are saying he's a flop. That doesn't make him a flop, though, because a flop is someone that comes in and has no impact and doesn't play well and doesn't do anything. He's absolutely injury prone. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But he is a quality player. But you wouldn't put the signing down as a successful signing because he's just not been available. Because his availability has been dog shit. But yeah, look, this Stankovic stuff, I've got absolutely no idea. I've got absolutely no idea whether that will or won't be a thing. Got no idea, chap. No idea whatsoever. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. In terms of any other notable things from the press conference, there wasn't really much else. Palmer's fit to play. I don't know why they ask every press conference, is Palmer fit? But Palmer is fit to play. Andre Santos is fit as well. That's a boost. Because he went off with a bit of a swollen ankle, but apparently he's trained today and he's fine. So that's going to be okay. So Palmer's available. Santos trained. He's fine for tomorrow. Tosin also trained today. And that's kind of it from the presser. That's pretty much it from the presser, chat. I mean, yeah, that certainly has been the case the last few seasons. I can't even deny that. Chat, let's get this to 120 likes. We're 9 likes away from 120. Run it up, run it up. 9 likes away from 120. Smash that like button. It's at 130 in the building. So let's get this sorted, people. Let's get this sorted. I don't need Tosin. No, I'm just going through the news. We don't need Tosin, no. Tosin will go in the summer. Tosin's got 2 years left on his contract. I'd be stunned if Tosin was offered a new deal. There's no way Tosin will be offered a new deal. No way. We do owe Leeds one. Yeah, we do need to beat Leeds, and we'll discuss that in more depth tomorrow. But yeah, you know, our last run of good form was halted by a defeat against Leeds. We can't afford for the same to happen again. Leeds are a decent side. But I'm not saying that we're not favourites or we shouldn't win this game. We absolutely should. But Leeds is not an easy game. Leeds really isn't an easy game. It's not an easy game at all, chat. Yeah, I think that's fair. If we continue with that three-man midfield or the pivot with Enzo playing higher up, then we will need someone else. Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, 3 centre-backs will probably go, definitely 2, but a possibility that 3 centre-backs go. I agree. A possibility that 3 centre-backs could well leave in the summer. But it's all going to be very interesting, chap. It's all going to be very, very interesting to see what goes down in the summer, to see what goes down, you know, in these games. And look, with that Man City win yesterday was huge, absolutely massive, not only for the title race, but for the fact we're now 4 points clear of Liverpool. We're now 4 points clear of Liverpool. In sixth. So that's a helpful little buffer as well. They play on Wednesday night. The gap to Liverpool could be 7 points by the time they next play. But we are picking up the wins that we should be picking up. But as has been said, as has been mentioned in the chat, the season really starts in March. That's when the big tests are. That's when the big tests are going to be. That's when those tests are going to be. Arsenal away, Villa away, Newcastle at home, Everton away. That's a big month. Big month. It's going to be a huge month. But right now, all we can focus on is winning the winnable games. And we are doing that. We are doing that. You can only beat what's in front of you at the end of the day. Yeah, I think Josh will leave. I think he will go. Despite what Chelsea say, I think he'll look opt to leave in the summer because there's not a clear pathway to the minutes that he wants or that he needs. There isn't that clear pathway to minutes. And so that's going to be an interesting situation to watch come the summer. Yeah, I mean, we need the points against Leeds and Burnley, and then we would have got the 15 points from Palace, West Ham, Wolves, Leeds, Burnley. We needed 15 points from those 5 games. We've got 9 of them now to finish off with the two home games, and then that is maximum points, and that puts us in a good position then to head into the tough March run. Yeah, look, it will be a shame if Josh goes in the summer, but I don't think anyone will be surprised at that. I don't think anybody will be surprised at that. But let's wait and see. We're on a good run right now. We are on a good run right now, and long may that continue. Long may that. Cucurella could be our best left winger. I agree. But long may that continue, guys. We got to pick those results. We got to keep picking those results up. Let's have a quick look if there's anything else to discuss. and then I will round this one out. Doesn't look like it is. We'll just have one quick final look. If there's any major developments. Doesn't appear to be, chap. Does not appear to be. So we are going to round this one out here. Big up to everyone that's locked in this afternoon. Appreciate each and every single one of you. Good show. Enjoyed that one. On your way out, guys, make sure you smash the likes. We're on 115 right now. Oh, 115, Man City number. We're on 115. Get this up to 120 minimum on the way out. So smash the like button on the way out. Hit the subscribe button as well. I will catch you lot tomorrow with a look ahead to the Leeds game. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night, Monday afternoon, people, whatever you're doing. Big love for the support as always. Smash the like, subscribe, and I will catch you lot again tomorrow. Up the Chelsea, and I'm out. Love.